In business, there's no room for guesswork. Every shipment matters. Every deadline counts. When you're trying to keep operations running smoothly, the last thing you need is uncertainty. That's why reliability is at the core of USPS Ground Advantage. From the moment your package is first scanned in, it moves through a secure nationwide network, aiding in a timely and accurate delivery. You get near real-time tracking so you can keep up with your shipments. And with affordable upfront pricing, there are no hidden fees or surprise surcharges to throw off your cost sheets. It all adds up to predictable deliveries you can depend on. Because knowing your logistics are handled lets you focus on everything else: your customers, your team, and the future you're building. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to start shipping with confidence. USPS, official shipping sponsor of the NHL.
All right, listen up. The only gift that any dad wants on Father's Day is Goldbelly. Goldbelly ships the most iconic foods from the best restaurants across the country straight to his door for free. Let him kick back and chow down on award-winning barbecue from Texas, epic deep dish pizza from Chicago, or colossal pastrami sandwiches from New York. Make Dad feel like an absolute legend this Father's Day and go to goldbelly.com to get 20% off your first order with promo code DAD. That's 20% off at goldbelly.com, code DAD.
Okay, Muhammad and I were chatting. He started a new page in his life. He started his university life. So it's a huge, huge transition when you individuate and you go into establishing yourself as an adult. I don't mean just in terms of having an event happen. It's really a big transitional point in our life because you're moving from being a child, a youth, a dependent, into the individual that you're going to express and present yourself to the world. So it's a transition. It's not just a change. And there's a difference between transition and change. You can change homes, but you transition from being a schoolboy to being a university graduate and so on. So it's very important to prepare the next platform. Which is why I chose Unbox, because it's like it stands for the N stands for preparing the next platform. So the more that you prepare for the next platform before you jump, before you take a leap, the easier it would be to make that leap. So however small the changes are, the transition to an entirely new level, if you like, will be a lot easier because you allowed yourself to emotionally get used to it. You allowed yourself psychologically, mentally, in every way. You've prepared your energy, your chakras, your whole mindset, really. So everything will work together at the same time. So it's no good just working on emotions, but not working on your mind. It's no good working on your mind, but not working on your belief system. But if you do it all together, all the 4 dimensions of change, and don't forget, hi Jody, hi Elvita. Just say hi if you want to say anything or unmute your mic when you want to. So good to see you. And hi, Jody, how are you? I've been following your dog on Instagram. I'm glad he's saying it, and it's so nice to see. So we were just talking about what we're transitioning into, because I really think we're not just going through changes, we're going through a major transition worldwide. And I don't mean just economically and politically, I also mean energetically. Things have been happening since 2012. So, at that time we were all preparing and building up for 12/12. But I think this one is even amplifying the changes because physically on a manifest level, we've been seeing a lot of structures change. Financially, politically, in every way, people are changing. But what is more difficult now is if you're not aware of the subtle changes, you can't grasp hold of the little threads that will lead you to whatever is changing on a bigger picture. Does that make sense? Are you with me, guys? So the subtle changes are so subtle. I was thinking about this the other day. They're so subtle. Some changes are not subtle. I think they're part of life, part of the cycle of life. Yeah. So we're celebrating 30 years. We're celebrating my 60th birthday. We're celebrating 30 years of working with people, which has really enriched my own life because I could see patterns within patterns. Like every week, every month, my clients would have similar problems. Here or in London, it's the same. And I'll go, oh, what's going on? So I think about it, and I think about every new moon. What does it mean? What is it the beginning of? Every full moon. I don't sleep during full moon nights. I just can't sleep. You know, I feel the energy. And when I know that I can't sleep, and then I look at my calendar and I remember, it's the full moon. So indirectly or directly, I don't consciously think about it, but it does affect me, because the more you become aware, the more you're able to detect the subtle changes. So when they're subtle, listen to people's voices, you know, listen to sounds. We spoke before about content and container, you know, the yang and the yin. On a higher level, or a more, I don't want to use higher level, but the changes that we're going through now, the container is very important, but it's not a physical container. So what holds the structure of our life is now more the rhythm. You know, what is the rhythm of your day? What is the rhythm of your week? What is the rhythm of your month? So it's even more important to have a diary, a physical diary, that you write things down, that you see where your life is going. You wake up in the morning and you put 3 goals down. All of these things will pin you down like a tent, you know, pin you down on the ground so that you can progress with your day. So if every day goes smoothly, then every week will go smoothly, every month, and therefore every year. So you need to pin yourself down with the subtleties, okay? Another thing that I really want to impress, because no matter what you do, you might get stuck or feel that nothing is moving on. It is because we can no longer progress in one area without working on the other areas. There's an expression in English, I don't know, Mohammed, if you know it, it's like the eye of the needle. So you cannot go through the eye of the needle if everything is not in alignment and smooth about you. So it's no good saying, for example, oh, I'll start a hobby when I have money and when my job is going well, because that is not happening. It's not going to happen. If things are not happening, the big things that you want are not happening, it is because you've been given time, if you like, by the energies, to work on the little things that you did not work on. Not just the little things, but sometimes it's the big things. Like I have a theme in my life that every time I try and tackle something happens and I let go and I don't do anything about it. And in the last couple of weeks or so, I just got so frustrated with myself. And I said, why isn't this working? You know, why can't I do it? Why didn't I start it? And then I thought, wait a minute, ask your brain the question in a different way. So instead of asking why I can't do it, why am I not doing it, why haven't I started it, or whatever it is, I said, okay, who can help me do it? What do I need to do in order to get this done? And within 3 days, I remembered to ask the person. I remembered who to ask. And I did ask him, and he did direct me to the right person. And now I'm doing it. It's such a small change, but it made the whole difference. And the other thing, I'm just summing up all the weeks that we've been talking about. We spoke a lot about dreams. Dreams are not only subtle, but they are your unconscious. Dreams are formed by the unconscious. Self-growth, self-awareness is about becoming more conscious. So one way of becoming more conscious so that you can hold yourself accountable for the life that you create is working with your dreams. If you don't understand the language of your own mind, then how can you create the life that you want? So I read something the other day about dreams, that if you live to be 80 years old, you would have spent 20 years dreaming. So can you imagine spending 20 years with someone and you're not listening to them? So you need to start working with your dreams. Again, another journal. I don't know if I told you this, but one way of making myself do the things that I really want to do is I dangle a carrot. And I love stationery and I love writing longhand. So I really get like kind of really neat notebooks. This one is designed by Lebanese artists and it's made from recycled paper. And I just love the visual and I love the little quotes on their notebooks. So I got a whole bunch so I can keep my victory log, my dream log, and my body and emotions journal. So when you work with me, and many of you, all of you in fact did, I really do what I suggest that you do because it has worked for me. So I'm just passing a shortcut to you because it is so effective. Dreams, writing things down, pin your rhythm. Your time now is more important in a way than decluttering. Like 2 years ago, throughout lockdown, many of my clients had to declutter, including myself. So it was about moving physical stuff, preparing the ground for carrying on, for taking a bigger leap. Now we're dealing with subtleties. Can you think of the subtle changes that you have been either going through or feeling? You know, it could be as subtle as, oh, I don't like sushi anymore, or I don't want to eat meat anymore, or anything small, you know, like your shopping list has changed, you know, grocery shopping list has changed, or the people that you really love to have, you know, afternoon coffee with, you no longer like to. Have you noticed anything like that? And what have you done about it? You can unmute and just, you know, or raise a hand or.
Can I go?
Yeah.
So I've cleaned out my closets and got rid of so many things.
Okay.
Like 4 bags of it.
Okay.
I'm into like, I'm looking at myself. I'm like, that's it. I need new clothes. And I went online and got so many like new shirts and sweaters and stuff with color. Like I was like, why is there so much black in my wardrobe? I'm like, I need much more color.
I went through the same thing. I'm wearing this tonight because it's my mother's and it has a star. But really, I had a lot of beige, brown, black in my wardrobe. And systematically especially over the last 2-3 years, I'm fed up. I just want color around, you know, whatever, everywhere. Painting, wardrobe, furniture. I've been repainting everything. That's a big change, Jody, especially color, because color is light. So some aspects of you have changed that you no longer want that drab or dull or whatever statement that you were making.
Even my bedroom furniture, I'm changing that too. Like I'm doing a few pieces in the bedroom. I'm like, I'm sick of it. I can't look at it anymore.
Well done. Well done. May I suggest that you don't just throw, but recycle? Like, do you have clothes bank or whatever?
Yeah. That's what I did. I donated.
Yeah, because I think whatever is not useful, no longer useful to you, it could be exactly what someone else needed.
Or give to my friends or coworkers.
Yes, it makes me happy. Before, we had a thing here called the bizzle, which is, I forgot what's the American equivalent, but you know, where you put stuff up for sale.
Okay.
And people used to buy it very quickly, but now the mood has changed. The makeup, I think, of the people have changed. So things are not selling, but if I put them outside, you know, on the corner, immediately they disappear. Somebody will come and pick up something. And actually, in fact, it makes me happier. So I'd rather know that, you know, and I see them picking it up and they're happy about it. It's so useful to them. So I'm not like upset that I can't sell it or whatever it is. Whereas a few years ago, I really wanted to resell. I mean, I don't know why, you know, but I wanted to kind of like recycle the money. But now I'm thinking about recycling the need for filling somebody else's need rather than just, you know, go through the chagrin of actually selling it, posting it, I don't care. If it's useful to someone, if they pick it up, then good for them. So you, Jody, changing furniture, changing colors is super amazing.
I even wanted to put highlights in my hair. I feel like it's too dark. Next month I'll do that too.
I never ever thought of changing. I would change the color of my hair because I used to pride myself, you know, my eyes, my hair are the same color. But things change and I wanted to have highlights. I wanted to change color of my wardrobe and so on. Fantastic. Now, why did you and I and everyone else do that? This is resonance. So when you change on the inside, inadvertently your world, the physical world outside, needs to catch up. I was talking to a client about 2 weeks ago, and I think she mentioned that she hasn't changed anything in her house for 20 years. I mean, okay, granted, maybe everything is fantastic and beautiful, but you may want to change its location. You may want to shift pieces around or paintings around. And she was feeling so frustrated. And we kept talking and talking until we figured it out. We both came to the conclusion that she needs to freshen things up. These are the subtleties. So the more aware or higher you grow up, the higher your level of awareness is. Those little things can really hold you back and block your path. You know, like a balloon with a very long tether. They will hold you back, although you're still growing up. So you need to pay attention to the subtleties, whatever they are, whatever physically, you need to pay attention. Is it the right color? Is it the right shape? Is it in the right location? Does it express who I am? I mean, that's the whole point of changes, you know? Does it express who I am? Does it fulfill my need? Does it fulfill the function that I want it for, whether it's actually people or furniture? It's the same. You know, sometimes I used to really make an effort to see people. And then, like in the last 6 months or so, I'm like, why? You know, what does it add to my life? What do I add to their life? It's just like a superficial meeting. So I cut those out because I need to create space to do the things that I truly yearn for. So if everything stays the same, then nothing is going to transition and change. So don't be frightened of change. I used to be. I mean, it used to really shake me to the ground. But now I see it as a new page, a blank canvas, and I can truly create anew. So whatever mistakes I made in the past, then I can avoid them and make new ones, which is more interesting. Have you been doing the chakra sounds? I can't impress, because now we have entered, if you will, the age of vibration, of sound, of subtleties, of resonance, and you need to use these, guys. I've sent it to all of you. Helene, I don't know if you've received it or not, but if you send me a message on WhatsApp, I'll send you that exercise. It's a very brief exercise through breathing and chanting sounds, and you bring yourself into alignment. So I want to hear from you, anyone, if you have tried those. What other changes, like Jody, have you been going through? Or Jody, maybe you want to say something else? I don't know. Do you want to share something else? Okay. It's okay.
By the way, you were saying about a full moon. I had this dream last night, strange enough, that it was like a full moon and the water was so high in my dream.
Okay.
When I woke up, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning and I couldn't go back to sleep. So I started again in the closet.
When was that? Like now? 2 days ago?
Last night. Yeah, last night. Actually.
Last night I couldn't sleep. And then I thought it was a full moon, but it's not. It's the new moon. But I think it's a very important new moon because emotionally I felt very restless as well. Dreaming of water is actually emotions, and the moon rules emotions. So you went through a lot of changes. Maybe now you're going through similar changes to do with emotional, but on a different level, because you said the water was really high. Do you remember if the water was clear, muddy?
I feel like it was like dark, like it was like dark water, and it was high, like it was near where I live on the rocks, and it was so high. Something about the water being high and
okay.
Wavy,
you prepare for the full moon, which is in about, I don't know, 12 days. I think today we are the 3rd day of the new moon. So that should be coming up in just under 2 weeks. Make a list of whatever, presumably things that you want to change, or the way you feel. You know, how do you want to feel? What would bring about, what can you imagine or think of that can bring about a positive emotional state? Do you remember last time when I said whatever you can't imagine, you can't manifest, you can't create? So imagination, but also emotions are the two triggers, like connecting a battery, that will make things happen. If you can't feel the happiness, falling in love, having lots of money, whatever it is that you want to achieve in life, if you cannot feel it, if you cannot live that memory now and imagine it in all its details. So the feeling is the heart, and the imagination is the sixth, the third eye, but it's also the higher spiritual level where we form the template of what we're trying to manifest. The two together, when they're anchored in your memory, then it becomes a lot easier for your brain to write the algorithm or the formula to make them manifest. So that's what we need to focus on. Imagining things and feeling the end result, feeling the relief, feeling how I want to live, or how I want to be, or how I want to shop, no matter how silly it is. In fact, the sillier the better, because it's easier for us to imagine, I don't know, a new wardrobe than to imagine extreme happiness. So, climb that ladder step by step is what I'm saying. Just get on the wheel, and then you can go to higher. So if you can every day 3 times a day. Just take 1 minute, literally. It doesn't need to be a meditation. 1 minute, 3 minutes, whatever you can afford to. Imagine and feel. So what is it that I want to create? You know, what does it feel like? What does it look like? What are the colors? What does it smell like? Use your inner senses. So the inner senses, whatever your 5 senses are, there's an equivalent on the inside. Use the 5 senses in your imagination. You know, see the color vividly, smell the scent of whatever it is you're trying to create. Use everything, the touch. Even in everyday life, become aware of how you can sense, how deeply are you aware, or how deeply can you sense, pick up information through your 5 senses. Particularly touch and sound, I find most people find difficult to discern. So get used to listening to sounds. You know, do I really like this? Am I really enjoying it? Feel different textures, and, you know, close your eyes and see if you can detect the difference between the page and the desktop or whatever, you know, your cat and your dog. It's very important now to do this, because then you can activate those senses on a higher octave, and that's really when manifestation happens. So remember that. So add it in your formula: feelings, imagination, spend time 3 times a day, register the subtleties, practice often, and then you will find, you know, that your wheel will start moving again, but also moving regularly and smoothly forward. So this is where we need to catch up in order to go through the eye of the needle and make it to the next phase of changes and development overall. Does that make sense? Excellent. Your dog is distracting me. I love animals. He looks so happy.
He's a very happy dog, Easy.
I'm so happy you got him. I mean, we all miss Rocco. I really do. But I'm so glad you got yourself a new friend.
The only thing is he has this separation anxiety that I'm like, if I leave the house, he cries. And he gets
you have your
distracted.
sound essences?
I finished them.
Okay, because they're good. You can spray them. They work on pets beautifully, because, you know, intellectually they don't object to them. My cat, did I tell you, had like a food poisoning, and it was the weekend and the vet wasn't there. I just kept spraying him, and he really calmed down. Color, mentally, you know, you can send him a lot of light blue, maybe pink, surround him with pink light so that he feels love, self-love. It could be that, you know, he was separated too early from his mom or whatever it is. It's anything like that.
He lived with a group for 10 months, and then I adopted him at 10 months. So I took him away from his whole pack. So.
Yeah, maybe that's what he got used to, and that's what he misses. My mom used to leave, whenever she left the house, she used to leave the radio on for the plants. I mean, we didn't have any pets. I think we had a parrot or birds, but they were not indoors. And I'm like, Mom, why are you leaving the radio on? And she goes, no, they enjoy it. They like it. And they really, you know, grew. So maybe leave some music on, leave a little light on. I don't know if you can leave TV on, if it's
leave the TV on for him. It helps. He's gotten better, but he still cries. Like,
oh, I would spray him. If you get you just need to get like a 1 sound essence or something and spray him. There's a spray for love, for comfort, and that should work. But also, if you just visualize light and send it to him through your 3rd eye, it can work as well. Try leaving, you know, one of your tops that you wear or a towel, but use it, because sometimes that smell comforts them. You know, like a baby and his mom, he gets used to the smell, and if you put the blanket, they calm down. Animals are the same. I noticed this with my cats. So like whenever I change and I leave my t-shirt on the bed, they would come and just, you know, snuggle and sit down and sleep. So sometimes they get anxious because they lose that connection. So leave something of you with your scent and just make it his and let him sleep on it or smell it, or, you know.
Funny, sometimes he smells my shirt or my towel from the bathroom and he'll pee on it. Like,
yeah,
like,
because he wants to, because I think he wants to mark it. Mm-hmm. I don't know, do dogs spray like cats spray? Because that's what one of my cats does. He's spaying.
He just got fixed, but he's still peeing around the house. That's
maybe it's spraying, I don't know. Do dogs spray? Ask your vet. I really don't know, but I know cats do, and it's not pee, it's spraying. So it's not, it has a different scent, and this is how they mark their territory. So it could be that he's attached to you and he's afraid and he doesn't want anyone else to come. But don't punish him, because pets don't understand punishment. You need to reward him, because if he's trying to get attention, if you reward him, then he is getting the attention, then he'll stop doing it. Because sometimes people do the opposite, or they suggested that I do the opposite, it hasn't worked. But if you reward them, then they will understand, okay, I don't need to do that. This is how pets' brains work. And then that will change. So try and like do, I don't know, do something nice, leave something of your own, let him get enough of your scent and see if that calms him down.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah. Elvita, do you want to say anything? I just sense you want to say something, so please do.
I'm Susanna.
Was that? Oh, no, I was just kind of like about what you mentioned about transition, and I just kind of like realized, because the last time we talked, for me, the change was so big, and I feel like kind of like wanting such a big change, but then you talk about transition, like it's very subtle, and then oh yeah, change doesn't have to be such huge or big things, and then Jody mentioned
transition
about
is-
color, and then
Yeah.
I do realize that that subtle transition is, I am more attracted to bright colors,
Lovely.
and especially for me, something that I wear right now, I'm more attracted to color. And then for the space that I want to be, is kind of like bring calm to me, is like blue and yellow.
Nice.
So it's just kind of like very interesting. And you mentioned about when something changed inside. I used to wear all black. My wardrobe was all black.
Isn't it amazing? I think most of us went through that phase, honestly. Like, I don't know what, you know, like they tell you it's the new black. No, enough of that. And I think worldwide this year, this winter, apparently, most or major designer houses have chosen color for winter and for fall. So you don't get to see any black, brown, or, you know, whatever, gray coats now. They're really, really bright colors. So I think this is like, you know, in collective consciousness, basically, people are fed up of the norm and they want color, especially after lockdown. I think this is like a unique experience that children who were alive and lived through it, you know, it will mark them forever. So now, you know, we want to break boundaries, we want color, we want to make ourselves comfortable in these little ways, whatever is nagging us, you know, it's like the Princess and the Pea, you know, you can't sleep under the mattress if it's like that, you know, you have to change things.
Yeah.
I feel this is like the theme now, you know, I'm fed up of that. I keep hearing it. I'm fed up of this. I want to change. We're no longer putting up with whatever doesn't work. That's the good thing. Now, don't translate that as depression or whatever, because, you know, a lot of people do. It's not that. It's that you have to change something and you're not acknowledging it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. And I also kind of like becoming more, I try to implement like mindfulness, like becoming more aware. So it becoming aware of my emotion. And so I think I'm becoming more intuitive in noticing the underneath needs that is not fulfilled. So I usually just kind of like really kind of like emotional, but then it's just like the surface emotion, and you know, but now it's like when I react to certain event or a conversation, I'm like, what was that? Why
Well
was
done.
that my reaction? Yeah.
Well done. The thing we learned in holistic therapy is to be a curious, benign observer. So now I catch myself saying, oh, that's interesting. Why did I react that way? You know, not like in a reproaching way, you know, as I used to before, like, why did I do that? Why did she upset me? Now it's like, oh, that's interesting. Why did I lose my temper? So when you ask it in that way, the conversation flows and you get to the bottom of where that buoy on the surface, of the emotions is floating, you really are guided, and then you can really spot. The other question to ask is, what belief do I have that brought about that experience? What current belief do I hold that manifested that experience? Because very often emotional reaction, emotional responses are linked to a belief. So when something goes against what you believe, it will ruffle your feather. Do you see what I mean? So beliefs and emotions go together. But the way to gently guide yourself and to get more answers is curiosity. Just be curious as to why you said that. Why did you behave in that way? Or why did that person say that? Or why, that's interesting, I no longer like black and brown. Where is that coming from? And then your mind, if you ask the subconscious, it will respond. The subconscious is amazing. It always expresses itself. And whatever goes into the subconscious gets there consciously. It's what we go through, what we tell ourselves, So by having a conversation, you are actually engaging your subconscious because it wants to express itself. So once the conscious expression changes, or the conscious communication changes, let me say, then the unconscious expression of that belief or experience will change.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Really that easy, which is why some people, not most, but some like you, made a huge change just within 3 mentoring sessions. Really, I'm so impressed with you. God bless you. Because there was such force that you wanted to embrace all these changes that you're going through, and you made it happen. So carry on, but please keep the journal, keep the victory log, just for your own, for your own sake, so that you can have legs to keep your tabletops stable. And I still do, and it really saves lives, because so long as you're having that continuous conversation, then you will find answers. Someone asked me, like, are we evolving forever? Yes. Are we gonna go through changes forever? Yes. Which is why you need to learn how to mentor yourself, literally. Because think about it, if we're always evolving, even on a molecular atomic level, the body is going through huge changes. A lot of transactions are going through the cells. So why wouldn't the outside world change? Plus we're part of a big matrix. There's the Earth, the galaxy, the whole universe. So all of that is revolving, changing, etc. So why wouldn't your universe change? So it doesn't mean there's something wrong or blocked. It just means you need to reset, upgrade, and become more aware, expand your awareness, and have these tools that will always help you to unlock that door, answer questions, and prepare yourself to the next level. So yeah, there will always be changes, and they will get more subtle and more subtle. So you need to kind of teach yourself how to grab the beginning of the thread, and then you'll catch whatever that change that you need to make, and how to act on it. Does that help, guys? Helene, are you there? Do you want to say anything? Do you need help with anything? Suzanne?
I'm good, thank you.
Any dreams, any observations you've noticed about yourself, about your life in the last few months?
I want to ask you something.
Sure.
How can we self from not being triggered a lot from the negative people that we are obliged?
You need to empty, because Suzanne, we keep going to that point. You need to empty your cup. Think about it. We talked about resonance. If you're carrying something within your container, then you will react. If your container is clear, then there's nothing to react to, no matter what people say or do. So it's almost like they're plucking your string, like when you play a guitar note. So they really, literally in English, we say they push your buttons. So if you have buttons, they will be pushed, but that's an indication. So this is when you start that conversation with yourself. Why am I reacting in that way? Why do I feel they're negative? What belief within me is triggering that experience? So for example, if you believe people can make you feel negative, you will feel negative. But the minute you feel I am responsible for my own happiness, I choose not to react that way, have a big smile on your face, nobody's going to ruin my day, then really nobody will ruin your day. I mean, I have these conversations with myself, like, okay, I can't do anything about that, but I choose to be happy. I choose to have a nice day. And I will get up and I will put perfume on, or I will put my Bluetooth speaker. I took it to the garden today. I put music, things that will, so you are in charge of your own happiness. So emotional triggers are an opportunity to release old traumas, whatever they are. So basically our past, if we don't process it, do you remember when we spoke about the two currents, the current of manifestation and the current of liberation? So this is always happening. So we need to release old experiences in order to invite and create new positive ones through our awareness. So all these things, negativity, the people who are triggering you, they're giving you an opportunity to look inside and see, okay, why do I feel that way? Why am I giving them power? Does the power lie within me? I choose to be the reason or the cause of my own happiness. Regardless of what's going in life, you can choose how to react to them. You can't change them, but you can choose the way you react to a situation. Does that make sense? So you need to hold yourself responsible. So if the world comes down on you, don't come down on yourself. Make yourself happier. Do things that makes you happier. Pay attention to what you need to do rather than how you need to react to people. Just smile and walk away, or don't see them that often, or, like a garden, weed them out and start putting new people in that give you support instead of people who give you a hard time, because they're going through a hard time, obviously. Remember, every container will express what is within it. So these people are being whatever, negative or behaving in an obnoxious way. It's because of what is inside them. So how can you make someone else happier if you're lacking that on the inside? So a lot of times people's problems are their problems, but we make them our own. So disengage, take the power back, and start building legs to the table to keep your tabletop up.
Okay, yes.
Okay. Make a list.
May I add to that, Sahar?
Yeah, please, Elvita, do.
Yeah, like your advice that I still hold true to this day was like, you told me to remind myself to like, does it serve my highest purpose?
Bravo, thank you.
So before I met you, I was very easy to get affected by people around me. And then when you told me when I becoming agitated by people, by environment around me, just kind of like to stop, like and then tell myself, as does it serve my highest purpose? And I've been doing that, and I noticed like it's becoming easier. No, it doesn't serve me anything. It doesn't serve me anything. It's not going to make my day better. So it becoming over time, for me, it's kind of like
Bravo.
easier to let go. It's not my problem, it's their problem. How they react is their problem. It's not on me.
Well done, exactly. Another way of asking that question is, am I enjoying feeling that way? Am I enjoying thinking in this way? Because if it doesn't bring joy, then you're putting the toxins in, regardless of what they did. The way you react is how you're triggering your hormonal system, your nervous system. So you're doing that because whatever they did is done.
Yes.
Past. But the way we react is what triggers. So, like, does it serve my higher purpose? Another question is, am I enjoying it? Am I enjoying feeling miserable? Am I enjoying feeling lonely? Am I enjoying feeling triggered? If the answer is no, then immediately I choose to think differently. I choose to feel differently. I choose to act differently. I mean, one thing I learned, from the British living in England for so long is they really hold their emotional response. Like, you could ask them a question which is embarrassing, for example, and it's none of your business. They wouldn't say, oh, it's none of your business. They just smile and turn their face or ask you another question, and they totally ignore the fact that you've just asked them that question. And that has never occurred to me as a response. Like, I choose not to answer that. I choose not to engage on that level, if you see what I mean. So I always thought that was interesting. And just by making that small change, you can divert or rechannel, how a conversation or a negotiation or an interview or anything, any interaction can go. If you watch those little transitional points and you change the dial, you react differently, then the whole course of the conversation or the event can go very differently.
Yes, I got your point. Thank you.
Excellent. I want to hear one day that I'm doing really well. I'm happy. Suzanne. Just apply what we've been talking about. Believe me, you're very intelligent, and you did a lot. You achieved a lot.
Thank you.
Use these little things because it is so important. I don't want to say control, but I want to say harness, because I love being emotional. I think if I wasn't emotional, I wouldn't be sensitive and intuitive. And my mentors used to say, you're very dramatic, but change the drama into passion. And I thought, okay, great. So I began to see myself as passionate. And then I began to ask myself, well, how else can I express this passion? And then, these creative hobbies came out. So it's really, being emotional means you are emotional, you are dramatic, you are passionate. Ask yourself, how can I channel that emotion without having to go through a drama? And I bet anything, maybe you have a creative talent, an ability that you have ignored. You need to express that ability. You need to to re-divert it. What's the word I'm looking for? To divert that energy and channel it in a different way. And then you couldn't care less about the outside world. Paint, write, that I write poetry and I translate, Arabic, English, and I write it sometimes in Arabic, I write sometimes in English. And now I'm learning Persian because I think it's really the language of poetry and love. So now I have a third thing. And it just opened up a whole universe, and just to keep the creativity going. And today in Dubai, although it's fall, it's actually almost like the beginning of spring. The weather is just perfect. And I thought, okay, it's time to pay attention to the garden. So we redesigned, moved pots around, changed things, and it really feels good. So creative expression can be in any way. In your wardrobe, like Jody was saying, changing colors, shifting furniture around. That's a big thing for me in the last 6 months. It's like almost I have to change the physical space in order to allow myself to grow in the way that I want to grow. Remember the other question, who am I becoming? Because that implies continuous change and continuous evolution. So we are always changing, and you will continue to change. And there will be a lot of little subtle things that bug you, but it's normal, because these are signs or invitation to change something so that you can find your equilibrium. And I want to just say a special message to Muhammad, because he's, I think, our youngest member, and he started his university. I can also tell you, and I'm sure you guys have noticed, every age has its own problems. Like when I was in my 30s, I don't know, my clients were in their 20s, for example. So I've noticed, and then when I was in my 40s, clients in 30s came and whatever, but whatever issues I went through, my clients went through, and now I see the younger generation going through. So there are issues or similar struggles that are to do with how we are individuating, if you see what I mean. So there are issues that is to do with the time, with the 21st century. There are issues to do with the age of what a person is. And if you, and I hope you did, guys, get my new book, because it is about self-development. Yeah, Tarot for Self-Transformation allows you to look at your life journey like that of the Fool, that goes through life changes and 3 major phases of transition. And when you read it, you will become aware of what are the subtle changes and what are the transitions, and why the same problems happen or occur for everyone, whether it's love, friends, marriage, job. I mean, we all go through that. So there are generational rites of passage that it doesn't matter where you live, you will be going through these, we call them problems, but really they're keys or an opportunity to evolve. And then you've got on top of it the problems of the countries you live in, the problems of the world we live in, the problems of the times we're living in, added. So like it's a matrix really. So you need to know who you are in order to navigate this matrix safely and always land in the best possible location for you. You know, do your best, have a fantastic day, choose to feel happier, ask the right questions, and that will guide you to finding the right answers. So there are things that will change with your age, for example. And I don't mean age just as in numbers, you know, because as you grow more mature, what you want out of life really would be different. I don't know how to explain it, but, you know, I talk to my friends who are of the same generation and how they celebrated, you know, their birthdays or whatever it is. And we really are going through a change. You know, what I want today is not what I wanted last year or 10 years ago. What I would do today is very different than what I would do 2 years ago even. So, you know, a lot of subtle changes build up to help you make the bigger change in order that you go through that transition. And every day, have a communication with yourself, have a conversation or write something down, but choose to have a very happy thought, the last thing at night, the first thought in the morning, make it a positive thought and put an invocation. Did you guys ever watch What the Bleep movie? I'll send it to you. It's a great movie. I don't know when it was out, 20 years ago or something, but I'll send you the link to watch it on YouTube. And one of the questions that one of the speakers said is, what do I want to create with my day today? And I love that question. And I wake up every day and I ask myself, okay, Sahar, what do you want to create with your day today? So one, I'd like to feel that I am in charge, that it is up to me. I have a choice and I want to exercise that choice. That is self-will. You have 24 hours. It's up to you what you're going to do, how you're going to respond, how you're going to react. You decide what mood or vibration I want to put myself in. And this is because, you know, when you look at someone, I mean, I don't know if you can, but when you become aware, you have an impression of a person. You know, you might say, oh, no, they're such a positive person. Or you say, oh, I'm avoiding them. You know, they're always complaining and they're negative. So everyone has a general vibe. And that vibe, if you will, if it's aura color, it will be dictated by their emotional state. So emotional state is so important. It really dictates how you resonate, how you, what do you vibe? What are you vibing? You know, what are you sending out to the world? So if your general emotional state is like, oh my God, nothing is working out. I'm so lonely. Why haven't I met, which is now a very popular question. Why haven't I met my right partner and so on? That is such a low vibe really. But if you choose to wake up in the morning and say, oh, you know, thank God for a new day. What am I going to make today? You know, what mistakes am I going to make today? Because it is interesting. The mistakes you make are an invitation to realign, to correct something. So never be afraid to make mistakes. I really, truly love all my mistakes. And I think my life would have been really boring if I didn't make any mistakes, because then I wouldn't have learned the lessons that I have learned. I wouldn't have evolved with my thinking, my way of thinking, or even my thinking process. So I hope you remember that. And I really wanted to kind of summarize the last 5 weeks to leave you with something that is going to be true no matter what time you listen or you watch this video. You need to do these things. Support yourself, take charge. You decide how you're going to respond. You decide, am I enjoying this? You decide, what am I going to create today? You need to be in the now. People cannot heal if their mindset is in the past. People cannot create something new if they're always looking to the past. So literally, to download the upgrade, you need to be in the now. You cannot download it if you're complaining about the past, or if you're too impatient to go to the future. Pace yourself. That's the rhythm. These are the subtle changes. Find your rhythm, pace yourself, take charge, have a ritual, Every morning, decide what are you going to create. Every evening, end your evening with a positive thought, or watch a funny video, or whatever it is. So if the first thing in the morning is positive, if the last thing in the evening is positive, then what you will experience in between will be conducive and constructive for you. Like sound waves. The sound is actually between the two nodes. It's not in the space between the two waves. And that's a great thing that really left an impact on me, that the sound is in the beginning, in the end, in what's between. So same thing for the day. You set the tone, you set the vibe for the whole day. And if you can take care of every 24 hours, then that's a whole week taken care of, then that's a whole month taken care of. And soon enough, it will become lifestyle, it will become a way of life, that the whole year will be okay, and hopefully the whole decade will be okay. Will you remember that? That's my present for you. Really, keep listening to this until it goes in, it becomes second nature, because that is really the very basics of self-awareness. It's not just about self-awareness, it's about how do I make myself happy? Because if our life is a movie, then what movie are we directing? Or actually, who is directing our movie? So make your movie interesting. Make mistakes, yes, but become aware of them. Why did I make them? What did I learn from them? Why did I attract them? What belief do I have? And so on. And that's the process of creation. That's why we're here, to understand these things and to evolve with our thinking and with what we are creating. Yesterday, a client asked me, what is my life purpose? And I said, which has been a general question, especially for people in their 30s and 40s, because there's a panic, have I missed my life purpose? Your life purpose, everybody's life purpose, is to create the best life that they can create for themselves. Meaning, they have to be conscious, they have to be aware, they have to bridge their conscious with their unconscious, because all of these are just tools to elevate with your consciousness. To be closer to the divine, however you want to phrase it. This is how we learn, through having a physical body that is governed by emotional responses, by neural circuits, by hormones. Otherwise, there's nothing to learn. If you don't have a body, it's great. It's all telepathy. There is no hurt, there's no death, there's no drama. How are you going to learn? So this is a gift. I watched a video recently, just popped up, Deepak Chopra, and he was saying about death, like not to be scared of death. And actually there is no death. Death is actually the death of, the movie Avatar. We are the avatar, but our real consciousness is much bigger. And that's reality, not this. So this is really like the matrix that we're experimenting, learning, so that our entire consciousness can grow. So whoever is pushing your buttons, it's not worth it, but it's for you. It's serving you a purpose. What do I need to improve about myself so that I don't spend my energy reacting to things like that? Plus, have a conscious awareness that I choose to do differently, because you need to direct yourself. You can't just stay like that and respond to people. You'll be attacked all the time if this is all you're noticing. But once you start to forge a new way, your whole mindset will change, your whole attitude will change. It will be directed towards where you want to go. So ask these questions. Who am I becoming? What do I need to do to become who I am? What else is possible? And ask your mind a dream. What do I need to do that I haven't done to solve this situation? What am I overlooking that I haven't considered in order to move forward, or to meet the right partner, or to start a new business? It's all the same. It's all, creative questions, opportunities to create the life that we want. Ask the right question. You will get the right answer. And the key thing is let go of the need to receive the answer. I was trying to teach my niece, Nadine, who's a great shaman and yoga therapist, how to use the pendulum. And it was really difficult for her, but she started. So she started texting me questions. Auntie, can you answer this for me with the pendulum? First time, okay. Second time, okay. Third time, I said, no, you don't rely on a pendulum. You need to take charge, and you need to practice in order to have crystal clear intuition, because it's a tool. You know, it's like having a Ferrari, and what is it doing? Staying in the garage and you don't even know how to drive it. So these are the innate gifts that we're born with that we need to grow and perfect so that we keep driving and we stay on the highway in order to arrive safely to where we want to go. It's not just about safely, but it's about, you know, having an enjoyable life, really. It's like a movie. At the end of the movie, you want to say, oh, really, I had a great life. I enjoyed it. That's the whole point. It's not to damage you so that you keep coming back and redoing it again until you master it. I feel like I went on for a while, but I really wanted to give you value and my perspective, because I've been thinking about these things a lot, about how have I changed? You know, what does it mean to turn 60? What does it mean to have 4 books published this year and hopefully 3 more next year? And like suddenly all these things are possible, and it does take time. So, you know, don't give up. It was always a dream, sometimes on the back burner, on the front. It doesn't really matter, but I really believe that nothing happens until you are ready. You need to match the energy of what you're trying to create. So it's no good frustrating yourself. Always turn the question inwardly. What do I need to do? What do I need to address? You know, what box do I need to come out of in order to make this happen? Then that is conducive. Then there's no trauma. Then there's nothing to heal, and you would have had a great life. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to ask you.
Please ask.
I saw that you've lost a very sincere friend.
Yes, thank you.
And I'm seeing you today. Maybe you are wearing black.
Not intentionally, but you made me aware of it.
Condolences. And that's, yeah. And I want to ask you, what are you feeling of it? Not all feelings only.
What am I what?
Feeling of it.
About it?
About it, yeah.
About losing my friend? She's a friend. She's a close friend. She's also a cousin. She's like a 4th or a 5th cousin. And we went through a lot together. We've spent many mornings. I would start my day with her. This is about my cousin, Layla Shawa, who passed away a few days ago. She was in her 80s, but really young, very passionate. You know, she's responsible, or she's the painter of all these paintings that I have, because I love her art. It's very colorful, but it's very poignant once you know the meaning behind it. Great loss. Layla had permanent works of art on permanent display in museums in New York, in London, in Oxford, you know, all over the world. So she's, you know, world class. And a close friend. She was a friend for like the big 20 years that a big part of my life that I spent in London. So it was a huge loss. But as I was saying, nothing happens before it's time. Maybe she's done her best and it was time to leave. I only regret that I wasn't in London, that I didn't see her personally, you know, eye to eye, because I really do miss her. But I know she's moved, she's happier, and I know that she's done her best and she's had a great life. And, you know, it's the end of a chapter. And that's why maybe I mentioned the avatar. You know, the avatar is over, but, you know, her consciousness is still there. She has another journey to continue. And I hope to see her and all my loved ones one day. So I'm in a strange way looking forward to that. But thank you for mentioning her and for acknowledging it. Thanks, Muhammad. It is a loss. It is a loss.
We are very sorry for this. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, guys. I have enjoyed these meetings, so I think I will keep them up next year. Maybe do them every other month. I don't know, but I want to hear from you. How would you like to keep them up? If you would like to keep them up, would you prefer Zoom or Clubhouse or whatever? Let me know. I think we have a great group. Almost the same people keep showing up, and hopefully the rest will come back, because I know it's difficult times now. There's midterm here, and you know, parents are busy with children and stuff. But let me know if you'd like me to do that. I've really enjoyed it, and I think it's important to kind of give you some kind of support throughout next year too. And I thank you for celebrating with me, and I'll see you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
You too.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Tired of your car insurance rate going up, even with a clean driving record? You're not alone. That's why there's Jerry, your proactive insurance assistant. Jerry compares rates side by side from over 50 top insurers and helps you switch with ease. Jerry even tracks market rates and alerts you when it's best to shop. No spam calls, no hidden fees. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Switch with confidence. Download the Jerry app or visit jerry.ai/Libsyn today. That's JERRY.ai/LIBSYN.